I just did something really cool. And when I tell people about it, they're very confused. This race, the Ragnar Reach the Beach, went all the way from the White Mountains, and the last mile is literally on the beach in New Hampshire. Here are 6 of the most common questions I get. How far is it? Well, the whole race is around 200 miles, but each person doesn't run nearly that far because it's a relay race. There are 12 people on each team, and each person runs 3 legs. So that's whatever the total race distance is divided by 36. That's the average. But it doesn't exactly work out that way because the legs are not all the same length. So for me, I had 3 legs for my run, and they were around 4.5 miles, around 5.5 miles, and around 6 miles, totaling around 15 miles. So over the full 36-hour period with 3 rests, I ran about 15 miles. Some of the runners ran as much as 24 miles over that time period, and some as little as a total of 11 miles. That doesn't account for the difficulty because some of them are really hard because there's a lot of climbing, and some of them are easier because they're flat or even downhill. But on average, people ran between 15 and 25 miles each over that 36-hour period. Does that answer that one? The next question I hear is, do you run at night? Yes, we do. The whole race is about 36 hours, and everyone gets 1 night leg of the race. You have to have a headlamp, you have to have a reflective vest, you have to have a flashing light. Anyone who gets out of the car at night has to have a reflective vest on, and anytime you cross the road, you have to use the crossing flags, which we also use to cheer and celebrate. And if you're running all night, where do you sleep? You don't sleep much. You sleep in the car. You sleep when you can, where you can. So let me explain a little bit more about how this works. There are 12 runners. Each runner runs in succession, runner 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., through 12. And then all 12 go again, and then all 12 go again. But you're divided into vans, each with 6 people. So when runners 1 through 6 are taking their individual turns, runners 7 through 12 in that van are on a break. And it's usually about 6 hours, at least at the pace we were going. And then when runners 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 do their individual legs, van 1 with runners 1 through 6, they get to rest. So in the evening time, that's usually dinner. In the overnight, we tried to sleep, but you're kind of on call because you need to make sure that you're going to be at the transition point to meet it when the next runner needs to take off. They had like a big, kind of like a circus tent with a bare dirt floor. It was freezing. It was very snowy. There was a lot of noises. None of us slept well in there at all, but you'll see a lot of people just sprawled out in parking lots in the grassy areas, not in the road, on sleeping bags, just trying to catch a quick nap. We were all pretty sleep deprived, which adds to the fun depending on how you feel about it.
Okay, now what
Time to pass the van to what? Who?
to us?
Oh!
Next question I got a lot is, what do you eat? We did pack lots of snacks and energy drinks and goos and gels and powders and chips and Fritos and popcorn and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and bananas to have in the car. But the other thing is, because you have 12 runners and you're doing this relay race, there's often downtime. And so you can actually go to a restaurant. Some people wanted to know, what about going to the bathroom? Or where did you poop? At each transition point, there are porta potties. The transition points are where one runner hands off the baton, in this case, a slap bracelet, to the next runner. And the vans have to shuttle them so that there can be that handoff. And that means that all these transition points have all the vans from all the teams with the runners all waiting to hand off that baton and everybody to cheer. All of those transition points, they have porta potties. All the vans, people use these wipe-off markers and they put little check marks for each of their laps completed, each leg for each runner. It's a really fun part of it to check your box off. And some of the vans have tick marks for what they call kills, and that's when a runner passes somebody on the course. I noticed that a couple of vans also had tick marks for poops. You can make of that what you will. The other question I get a lot is, who did you do it with? We did it as a family. It was me, one of my kids, my brother, his wife, a couple of their kids, and a bunch of friends. And it was super fun. Imagine being closed in a van or a vehicle for 36 hours straight with a group of 5 or 6 people who are all tired and all running. And it sounds terrible, but it was so fun. And I will tell you that I rolled into the entire next week just feeling on a high from being outside, being in nature, getting a ton of exercise, and just having a really fun experience. I'm going to be talking more about this on this channel. The philosophy is, how do we find ways in our lives when you work, in my case, 9 to 5 at a desk, sometimes feel out of energy at the end of those days, but how do we make a life for ourselves that is fun and exciting and full of adventures and things to look forward to and just things that make us feel good and enjoy the world and the people in it. And this race was one of those ways. But it's really hard to make these videos without getting a response. So please subscribe or leave a comment or ask me a question so that I know that I'm not doing this alone. Ask any questions you have. You can put it down in the comments and I will do my best to answer. I am by no means an expert in running or in this race, but I'm somebody who participated and I can speak from that point of view.